earlier this year, you were introduced to him when he managed his state through this deadly Maryland bridge disaster. You remember that. The governor joins us now. It's good to see you, sir.
It's great to see you, sir. Good evening.
And I told them, Governor, before I went to break, you are not here to campaign. You are not here to do any of that. You will fight me and evade all my questions about it. But I told them. So we're here under no false pretenses. So why did it matter for you as a Democrat leader to hear the president acknowledge today that he did not get it done last night and that he is not who he was?
Well, I'm going to be honest. It didn't matter as a Democrat because I don't think it's political. I think it was honest. He didn't have a great night. And I think that anyone who would argue that he did is not telling you the truth. And so I respect the fact that the president came out today and said, that was not his best pitch. And I get that. And it's true. I also know that while the president did not have a great night, really what's contrasted is the fact that Donald Trump did not have a great presidency. And that is the dynamic that I think really that the voters are going to have to wrestle with and struggle with. The president knows that we're going to have to go out and continue making the case, continue making the argument as to why another 4 years is going to be so important for the country. And at the same time, why another 4 years for Donald Trump would be so problematic for the future of America.
Do you believe that Joe Biden can serve for 4 years competently?
I do. And I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. I mean, I wouldn't be supporting the president in the way that I am if I did not believe that. I look at what we've been able to get done just in the first 18 months in Maryland since I've been the governor. We're now having record low unemployment in the state of Maryland, despite when I was inaugurated, Maryland was 43rd in the country in unemployment. When I first came on board, we were having 8 straight years of where we watched the homicide rate nearly double in the state of Maryland. Baltimore City was at 300 homicides for 8 straight years under my predecessor. And in the first 18 months that I've been on board, we've been able to drop the homicide rate in Baltimore by over half, having the fastest drop of any major American city in this country, with the exception of one. And now the homicide rate in Baltimore, the last time it was this low, I was not born yet. The reason I bring that up is we're doing it in partnership with President Biden and the Biden-Harris administration. And so the reason that I'm so supportive of them is not only do I know that he will be able to serve another 4 years, I'm excited about what we can actually get done as a state if I have the chance to continue partnering with the president for the next 4 years.
If the president decides it's not for him and he steps away, would you be open to being active in the competition to see who replaces him?
The president's not going to step away. I think we saw today.
I said if.
The president's not going to step away. He's not going to.
I said if.
And I encourage him not to even consider it.
Oh, he's considering. I would
encourage the president not to even consider it.
Would you Tim Russert, may he rest in peace, love this dialogue, but if they came to you and said, can we consider you? Biden wants to step away. Would you allow yourself to be considered?
Chris, the thing that there's 2 things that I know. One is I not only love my job, I have the best job. The second thing that I know is one of the reasons that I love the job so much is because I have such a great partner in President Biden inside this role. I mean, and think about it, and I'm being serious here, right? You look at what he did the day after the debate. What did he do the day after the debate? We made an announcement that the White House is now working with Congress to make sure that we can get a 100% cost share on the ability to rebuild the Francis Scott Key Bridge with speed and with efficacy, because as I've said to people of my state and to the people of this country, one, we are going to make sure that we are going to rebuild this bridge and not have it just be with taxpayer dollars, that this is something between the insurance and the potentially pending litigation is going to more than make the American people whole, but we need to get this bridge financing in order to get moving and get it done on time and on budget. The president is the one helping to lead and to push that. And so that's why it's so important and why not only is he going to be the nominee, but I'm excited to support him.
Hey, thank you for watching. please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.